What makes an Imperial Stout so special? Let's go take a look. Hi, I'm Joanne the Beer School Lady, and I teach beer lovers how to taste beer with confidence and develop their knowledge of the world's favourite beverage. Did you know that February is Stout Month? And what better stout is there to celebrate this with than an Imperial Stout? But what makes an Imperial Stout imperial, and why are they so special as a style? Let's talk about that. So Imperial Stouts actually started off life as porters. This was a dark beer that was being brewed in London, England, in the 18th century, and it was mainly drunk by the working class. Higher ABV versions began to be known as stouts because they were stouter porters. In the 18th century, Peter the Great came over and visited London from Russia. Porters were all the rage at this time. He drank a few and he absolutely loved them and insisted that some get imported to his imperial court in Russia. Unfortunately, by the time the porters got to Russia, it was a very long journey and they spoiled, so they couldn't be drunk. But British brewers were not going to be deterred. They upped the hop content, knowing that this would preserve the beer for the long journey, just like had been done with IPAs previously, and the Russian Imperial Stout was born. But it wasn't just Peter the Great that loved a good Imperial Stout. Catherine the Great also loved them. In 1796, Thrale's Anchor Brewery in London provided a Imperial Stout to Catherine the Great's court that would keep for 7 years. There is a quote in the History and Antiquities of the parish of St Saviour, Southwark, that says, "The Empress of all Russia is so partial to porter that she has repeatedly ordered vast quantities for her own drinking and that of her court." She ordered so much that she ended up having to order from another brewery, Courage, who had, by order of the Imperial Court, on their labels well into the 1990s. Unfortunately, due to the rise of pale beers, the Imperial Stout's popularity started to die off and it was almost completely gone by the 20th century. However, as with a lot of the styles that we now see in craft beer, American homebrewers revived the style because they were trying out all different historical recipes that they could find. And so we have to thank those American homebrewers for us being able to have this delicious beer today. So what are the vital statistics of the beer style Imperial Stout? These are from the BJCP guidelines. The colour should be dark brown to black, which is 30 to 40 on the SRM scale. The ABV should be high to very high, 8 to 12%. Often higher than this can be found. The perceived bitterness is pronounced at 50 to 90 IBUs. Hops will be used in this style, not just for preserving it on long journeys, but also to balance out the sweetness from all the malts that are used to create the high ABV. Suggested serving temperature is 15 to 16 degrees Celsius, which is 59 to 60.8 degrees Fahrenheit. With an Imperial Stout, you do want it slightly warmer than straight out of the fridge. With darker beers, you will find that the complex flavours are dulled when they are cold. You want to take them out of the fridge, either let them sit for a little bit or open them up and gradually sip on them and see how those complex flavours develop. And your serving glass wants to be something like a snifter. We want a nice bold shape so that it opens up all of the lovely aromas and flavours so we can sip on this warming beer in the colder temperatures of winter. In flavour and balance, we are looking at an intensely flavoured dark ale with a roasty burnt character. Traditional versions will include flavours of dried fruits and there will be a warmth and a bittersweet note. These beers are high enough ABV and high enough malt character that they will age over time. The profile will then shift and will impact the intensity, balance and smoothness of the flavours and aromas. It's really interesting to buy several of these beers and age them and see how the flavours develop. A lot of modern versions are barrel aged and aged in wood. This will change the flavour as well because you'll get oakiness, the flavour of the wood of the barrel and also whatever was in the wood before it. Bourbon is a particular favourite. but they can also be aged in rum, wine or sherry barrels. Examples of Imperial Stouts that you can try. Goose Island's Bourbon County Stout brand Imperial Stout comes out every year. Now, there is some controversy around this because, as you may or may not know, Goose Island is now owned by AB InBev and is therefore not really considered a craft brewery. However, Bourbon County is an excellent beer, so we all seem to give them a pass. Have you bought Bourbon County before? Let me know what you think of that controversy in the comments now. Other examples here in the UK, Wild Beer Co. often have Imperial Stouts and their Babs range is an excellent example. Buxton Brewery have their Storm Shadow Imperial Stout. If you would like to see something that is a Russian Imperial Stout, Black Sheep do a version. Every year Siren Beer Co. do their Caribbean Chocolate Cake range and their Death by Caribbean Chocolate Cake is an Imperial Stout. Fuller's, a very traditional brewery here in the UK, also have an Imperial Stout. You can often buy different vintages of this to try in what is called a vertical, where you try a variety of years of the same beer to see how the flavour changes. More American versions that you can find, Brooklyn Brewery's Black Chocolate Stout, Great Divide's Yeti Imperial Stouts, and North Coast Old Rasputin Imperial Stout. Modern versions of an Imperial Stout can also include various different flavours. This one here from Elusive and Emperors has chocolate flavours. Low Key, which is a brewery that specialises in barley wines and Imperial Stouts, do lots of interesting flavours. Chocolate, tonka and coffee. And for those of you that like a bit of fruit, Where Is Your Heart from Fallen Acorn has raspberry, pistachio and cacao. This is a nice sharing bottle if you feel inclined. And if you want to learn more about beer styles with me, come and join my beer membership, the Beer Tent Society. We look at a different beer style every month and then have a live tasting to see what it's all about. You can join us now via the link in the video description. If you want to know why we even have beer styles, head on over to the video that is on your screen now that will tell you about what beer styles even are. I've also got a playlist with beer styles that I've dug into. Have a watch to learn more.